Hey everyone, it's David Mendel with Valley Premier Team and my home group.
And I'm Brogan McGuire with Caliber Home Loans.
Today we are here to discuss the importance of building and maintaining your credit. Brogan, you'd mentioned earlier that there are three specific items that you wanted to bring to light where it comes to credit. The first of which is just understanding your score. Tell me some more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing about your credit score that most people don't understand is that there are actually 5 parts of it. The 2 biggest being your payment history and your amounts owed. And what I mean by payment history is, fairly self-explanatory. How on time are you consistently with, any monthly payments that you may have? And then the other part of that is amounts owed, which gets a little bit murkier. It's not quite as clear cut. So say you have a $1,000 credit card. If you owe more than about $200 or $300 on that card at any given time, that's actually going to have a negative impact on your credit score. I know there's kind of a myth that's floated around for a while that you want to maintain a larger balance because that shows that you're using your credit. That's false. I can tell you that right here, right now. Anything over 30% is going to have a detrimental effect overall. So you're going to want to keep it below that mark. Like I said, if it's a $1,000 card, keep it at the most at $300 and then pay it down from there.
That actually brings up a question for me. Would you want to pay your card off completely every month?
That kind of depends on where you're at in the life cycle of your credit score. If you're just starting out and you're just trying to build a score, it can actually be more beneficial to keep a very small balance on there. Especially in the beginning, you're probably going to be on a secured card or maybe something with a few $100 limit. Keeping $5 or $10 and letting that overlap to the next month, you're going to pay a really small amount of interest on a balance like that. And like I said, it can actually help you boost your score quicker. Now, if you've already got a 700 FICO and you're just looking to build on that, maybe get up to that 850 mark, plus at that point, you don't want to pay interest on anything, especially at 20, 25%. At that point, I would recommend paying them off every month, and that's what I do myself.
Okay, fantastic. You mentioned there were 5 things in total. So what are the others?
The other, these are much smaller. Like I said, payment history is 35% of your score. The balances is 30% of your score. The next is new credit. So that's 10% overall. That's really looking at how many hard inquiries do you have on your credit, right? And those stay on there for 2 years. So if you go and just are trying to request credit left and right, you're going to be seen as a slightly higher credit risk.
He's super technical. So what is an inquiry?
Good point. So an inquiry is any time that a company, you allow a company to see your credit report. So that's what they call a hard inquiry, and it shows up as a negative mark on your credit report. Now, if you do that too often, you're going to be seen as a credit risk, or at least a slightly higher credit risk. The other 2 portions overall are the length of history. And again, there's not really much you can do about that. That's literally just time. How long have you been using your credit, and how long have you shown a good standing on those credit accounts? So there's really nothing you can do there other than just, like I said, continually making those payments on time. The last part is your credit mix. So say you just have a credit card, and that's the only form of quote-unquote debt that you carry. You're going to be seen as less seasoned compared to someone who has maybe a reasonable credit, car loan or a reasonable mortgage in addition with a credit card or 2, because it shows that you've proven yourself to be capable of maintaining different forms of debt other than just a couple $100 a month on a credit card.
Okay, thanks for the explanation. So, if I want to have a better understanding of my overall credit, how do I both read and improve my score?
So if you do get the chance to actually see your own credit score credit report, not your credit score. There's many ways you can see your credit score, but what the report does is it'll actually show you anything that's hurting your score. Every bureau, and the credit bureau is like FICO, there's also TransUnion, Equifax, those are the credit bureaus. They'll actually list what things are hurting you.
So these are different companies that provide credit information.
So these are conglomerates that essentially just put all this data together, and anytime someone does a hard inquiry, like we were talking about earlier, they're going to see that credit report. Now, if you do get the chance to actually see your own credit report, say if you're buying a car or something like that, they are generally required to provide that to you, or at least if you ask for it, provide it to you. You can see exactly what negative remarks are listed on that report, and that will allow you to improve your score based on those. Now, even if you have an 800 credit score, they're still going to list negative remarks on your credit report. They will always be there, even at a perfect 850, there's always something they're going to list as you could do better. So, they have to be kind of taken with a grain of salt. You could have a derogatory remark on, the credit mix, that's 10%, say you have nothing on there. Well, there's still 90% left of your credit score. If that's all perfect, you're still going to be 700 plus. So just bear that in mind as you're trying to read through that kind of stuff.
I've actually seen that maybe it might say too many accounts, even though 95% of them are closed and they're part of a credit history.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. What's the best way to, in the long term, to maintain your credit?
Well, the best way to maintain overall is, again, don't open too many accounts too often. Those hard inquiries stick on your credit report for 2 years, and they can actually hurt you as far as getting new credit later on. If you're applying for a mortgage or car loan, something like that, they can kind of come back to bite you. So make sure you're only applying for credit that you actually need. Don't go after debt that isn't necessary.
Okay, so don't be frivolous. Be responsible, like
Exactly.
our parents have always said. Be responsible with your credit. Don't use it if you don't need it, but it can provide some real opportunities when it's well maintained. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's obviously a lot of credit cards out there that have benefits, points, things like that. I myself, I put all my gas on one specific card because I'm gonna have to spend it regardless. You may as well get a little bit back on it. Save about 2% on every tank of gas that I fill up. So there are some advantages to it, in just not in just improving your credit score, but also to kind of your overall financial picture as well.
Okay. Well, Brogan, I really appreciate the information. I'm sure everyone does. You guys are bound to have some questions, so feel free to reach out to us. Send us a private message. Give us a call, send us an email, whatever we can do to help, informationally or otherwise, reach out anytime. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, guys.